This is part of the and we're happy with the. There's pretty much nobody else who wants to do it. Yeah, yeah. They probably don't have a lot of competition, especially about like small, not making a lot of money. Just some of the things that traditionally families finally getting some better sleep. They used to kind of part of this transition. Especially for my daughter.
We have.
And so I feel always try to wear a shirt every time.
Yeah, and sure. Let's all use, we'll see.
That's right, yeah.
I guess there may have been one where we didn't do it. Section or something.
It's gonna help. It's gonna help. Or is this software development? That's what
So they're gonna.
So maybe unless you're doing it at the beginning.
Yeah, I think Reagan will. There's a lot of details that we think goes. They said it would make it sure revenue, but so we have to utilize their service. Been doing it.
Say, someone complained to Bill and said, I'm not on the board, but I'll forward it. So
I mean, it is some things like they hire some selection. On their website, I think it's. They're very little staff. They have a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if we annex another large area like a trailer park that's full of people, they're just a lot of money.
Tired.
So we're not.
Yeah.
I was 75.
Go ahead. It's that process.
You have been friends.
Make so much money.
It's just a reference. It's really.
So that's right. So. For services.
I guess once I, if it's a recommendation. 6:30. Yeah, 6:30, so I got 6:30.
You will lead us in the application.
Heavenly Father, come to you today to ask for your guidance. Thank you for bringing us all here safe and sound. We ask that you will preside through us in this meeting, allow us to think open-mindedly and wholeheartedly and make decisions for the town to the best of our abilities.
Bill join us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next number one. We is in the recitation of the vision statement. Vision statement.
To advance a framework for our success through balanced governance, dynamic partnerships, and an engaged community.
Mr. Brown, if you will lead us in our vision statement.
Siler City is a safe, prosperous, and vibrant community where diversity, innovation, and education drive success in a globally competitive society.
Thank you both. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
No, I don't have any.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
I'm moving probably second that we approve the agenda as is. All in favor, let it be known by sound. All opposed having the same right. Hearing none, motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved probably second that the consent agenda be approved as is. All in favor by sign of ballot. All opposed have the same right. Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. Public comments. Do we have anyone signed up? Yeah, Mr. Pagan.
Yes.
If you please come forward, state your name and address.
Pagan, yes.
Excuse me.
It's okay. 3904 Waters Edge Drive, Raleigh, North Carolina. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, commissioners. You may recall I came here before this body September of 2023. And I shared with you that we, our organization, Hispanos del Sur, Hispanics of the South, were the victims of discrimination by El Vínculo Hispano, where they prevented us from participating in the Hispanic festival that happens every year in Siler City. We came here, we shared that they prevented us from participating in September of 2023, even though in September of 2022, we actually participated in the actual festival. They told us that we couldn't participate because our values were not aligned. They, within the 12 months from 2022 of September to 2023 of September, they realized that we were not aligned with their values, what they told us in writing. I sent the email out to the commissioners. I called some of you and I spoke to some of you about this. My understanding is that nothing has happened since then regarding that issue, that we were discriminated against by this organization, El Vínculo Hispano. And I'm asking that the commissioners put into the application or permitting process to use public land for a public activity, a non-discrimination clause that prohibits anyone who's doing anything on city or public land, and they're getting a permit by this body, the city, that no discrimination be allowed, that free speech in the First Amendment will be respected. And we're asking that that be placed into the application process for any license, any permit that's given to do these kind of events on public land. I understand that the body has not had discussions around this issue when I came last year, and I'd like the body to consider that, and that you can actually change that process so that anybody, whether it's the El Vínculo Hispano or another organization, whoever comes into your town to do an event, that they have to comply with non-discrimination practices. And if they are proven to not comply, that there should be some fines levied and they be prevented from participating or getting some kind of permit or approval in the future. I'd like for you guys to look at that and consider putting that into your application process so that no one else will be discriminated against. Mind you, we're a Hispanic organization discriminated by another Hispanic organization during Hispanic Heritage Month. So I'd like for you to consider that today, if at all possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We need this other session.
Motion to close public comment.
Second.
Then moving on, second to close comment section. All in favor, by sign of aye. All opposed, having the same right, hearing none, motion carried. New business, 5.1 ticket. Non-ticket law.
Mayor, I invite the police chief up, excuse me, to provide this presentation and information.
Good evening.
Good evening.
A couple of weeks ago, I had Sergeant Chad Oaks approach me and said that Dan Hatley, who we have back here, Dan and Tom. Dan is a founding attorney of iTicket and Tom is the CEO of iTicket.com and wanted me to set up a conversation with Dan. So we had that conversation and basically they currently do this, I don't know if you have a contract or have an agreement with the Orange County Sheriff's Office where the Orange County Sheriff's Office has an employee that runs their driver's license checks. And they average between 3,500 to 4,000 requests a month. Now they compensate Orange County back for each one of these at about $5 a record check. So, you know, I don't want to speak for them, but there's some issues with that process going on in Orange County. So Dan and I had a conversation and then last week we brought the town manager in, the mayor came to it. We had John, the finance director, at the meeting. So we sat down and listened to the presentation. So basically, I guess what we're bringing before y'all is there's an opportunity for us at the police department to take this on. It would require us to hire a full-time records clerk. And then, you know, we would average, this person would be running 3,500 to 4,000. This is legal. We have all the capabilities through DCI. Andrea, who is currently our TAC with DCI, has already checked. We're set up for this process. And we would have to hire a records clerk to do this. It's basically, in my best calculations, it takes about 5 hours a day to accomplish all this. And then we're working on some processes as far as how we will get those record checks to them. And there's a lot of options on the table with that right now, but we think we can make a smooth transition with that. What I would kind of brought to Jack is that if we can hire this full-time records clerk, hopefully we can hire somebody for second shift. And my thought is that we would be able to leave the police department open later. They would be able to be at the front of the police department, which we could keep open later. So that's been an issue that's been brought before. So I think this is a solution to that also. And that person, we could adjust the hours whether we want it open to 11 or 12, Monday through Friday. Part of this process, and what I brought to Jack earlier today was, and Andrea, who's here, we would change her position title to Senior Administrative Support Specialist, because she would need to supervise this record clerk because she is our TAC with DCI. Also, when this person is off, Andrea would have to also keep up those requests. So I've also kind of proposed to Jack that we increase the salary with her because she's going to be taking on a lot of extra job responsibility with this. Especially when that person is off, because we have to continue this flow with this agreement we would have with iTicket.law. We're estimating on the low end with 3,500 requests at $5 a request, this will bring in $210,000 in revenue, that we could use at the police department. We have some big ticket items coming. I've talked with Jack. And I know with the mayor, all our body worn cameras and in-car cameras have to be replaced next year. I got a quote recently that's $247,000. That it's gonna cost us to replace all that. You all know a police department cannot function this day and time without having body worn cameras and in-car cameras. That's a big ticket. We do have some other ones that will be coming. I think this is a revenue that we can have coming in that will help with those costs and not have to pull from somewhere else to meet those requests related to it. Again, Dan and Tom's here. If you have any questions, they have been wonderful to work with. They have had some other agencies that are interested in this opportunity. We've tried to sell it to them that we'll give them the best customer service related to this. If y'all so decide we can move forward with this process.
What, when you go to the radios also that has to be replaced, that's coming up, and that's roughly what?
We're looking at when the merger was made with Chatham 911, which was 2023. I had a talk with Mike, who's the director with them, and our radios are basically have a shelf life of 10 years. So we're looking at 2033 having to replace, and this includes the fire department and the police department. And the best rough estimate I could give is $600,000 to $700,000 that it's going to cost to make that. So as as we move forward with this, as we get some of our big ticket items, I think we can take this money and put it in a fund and start saving for that, so that the city doesn't have this big cost laid on at one time. So there's a lot of benefit to the police department and public safety side with this partnership.
Well, I'm all for it, chief. I mean,
So the in-car cameras is $250,000 and the radio replacement is $600,000 to $700,000.
That's the best I can, at this time, we're talking. But we'd have to really start looking at the radios. That's handheld and in-vehicle radios. And that's, again, that would be the fire department and the police department. We're looking at right around between 600 to 700,000 to make that transition we would have to make.
By next year.
So
By next year.
now the radios we're looking at, we probably have to start somewhere around 2030. By 2033, we would have to make that full switch out. So that's on the radios. The body worn, the current cameras that we have are out of date. We can't get any replacements for them right now. If they go down or the battery quits working, we're out of luck with it.
yeah,
And
I'm all for the proposal. I know back in the day, we used to request them from the sheriff's department, from the police department, and that kind of fell off at some point. I'd love to see it back. So I'd be all for it.
What are Andrea's thoughts?
well, that's a good thing she said.
I really didn't like it when the old supervisor done away with doing it for the local attorneys in town. I didn't agree with it, but that wasn't my decision. I'm all for it because it's gonna bring revenue into us and, there's items these guys are gonna have to have.
And we've had some very open conversations about this, and that's one thing when I got to looking at her position title and then this added responsibility, I do think we need to change her position title and then increase her salary some, because she will supervise this process, supervise the person, and then also when that person's out of pocket, whether they're on vacation or whatever, then she's gonna have to step up and fulfill these requests.
So procedurally, it just makes sense to me. I think it's a win-win. So,
And John, that will be put in our set aside fund,
We
especially.
do it in a couple of different ways, but
Okay.
yeah, it can be, it'll have its own line item, it can be tracked 10 years down the road to see how I made the last 10 years.
So it's task force 7 to 12, right? I'm sorry.
what hour from 7 to 12?
The hours that we would have this person work. Right. It would depend on how late that we're looking at wanting to keep the police department open. Would we want it to 11 or to midnight? We would bring this person in second shift. To in essence, staff the front. They can still do this job while, dealing with any public that comes through. So.
I think that can all be ironed out, but, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion, we have on table staff. Negotiation agreement with Access Law for motor vehicle request partnership.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second that advocate law and the town enter into an agreement. All in favor by that being by sign of aye. All opposed having the same right. Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. 5.2. Annexation request from Hampton Village LLC.
So we received a voluntary annexation petition application from Hampton Village at April 26th of 24, and we're just now bringing that before you guys because we I wanted to do some additional research because Hampton Village LLC actually petitioned the Board of Commissioners for the same petition back in 2013. Isn't that right, William?
This is around the time they did.
Okay. And the commissioners at the time, the board did not act on that. So we wanted to make sure if that was what they call dead in the water, and it was. So, and I've spoken with Kent Suits, and he is very aware that we did some research on that. So we do have to move forward with this petition. And so Chris, if you want to help me let the commissioners know where exactly 2 Fairfax Street is and how this kind of ties into some of our other mobile home parks kind of in the area. So.
Yeah, so it's off of Piney Grove Church Road in the very back piece of Hampton Village's property. Back where we asked y'all a couple of weeks ago for the.
Yes,
Is
so.
that your church road?
In Florida,
Is that,
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
is that near the, that's on the other side of all of the states, right?
On the opposite side of Olmsted.
Where they used to have one of the, neighborhood things for the national, yeah.
So they are also one of the easements, one of the requests that we're going through for easements in the condemnation. So this was part of the request, although it can't be, it was part of the request, but we can't look at it that way. So what I'm asking tonight is for you to approve the attached resolution to direct the town clerk to review the subject petition and offer findings of sufficiency. Yes, sir.
Do we have any information on what happened in 2013?
Yes, we do, and I can provide that to you in the findings. The board did not act on it, and they have that choice. I really don't know why. As much as I could find, they just chose not to act on it, and that is in an annexation processes, the board can choose not to act. And William, you may know a little more about that than I do.
I remember it made it through this first resolution to get the then clerk to
Do research.
research the sufficiency of it. I remember there being some issues back then, but I can't remember right now what they were.
Yeah, I think it made it past the first time, if I recall correctly, Cindy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it made it past the first one, but then it didn't make it past the second
The
one.
board, that's what happened. The board didn't vote. There was no motion to set a public hearing. So that's the lack.
For lack of motion.
Yes. Yeah. And so with this one, it'll be a little bit different than the last annexation when we brought the findings back to you. With this one, it is residential. And so there's a lot of different moving parts to it. So if you do approve the resolution tonight, when I do begin my research, there will be a plethora of different information based on taxes, what the trash, water, sewer, like I said, a lot of different moving parts that you will have to consider. So it will not be as short as the last one that you just approved.
I think the biggest resource will be from the police department as far
I
as,
think that will be.
so maybe the Chatham County Sheriff Office would be valuable to reach out to ask.
Brian, do we know how many people currently live in? How many? I'm not even, like I said, I'm not even certain, but it will be an impact to our fire and our police department, as well as our public works and utilities department. because we will have to provide them trash pickup, and it's a big, it's a lot of information I'll have to bring back to you.
It's a trailer park, correct?
Mhm.
Maybe regarding trash, you could get them like a large bin. It'd be a lot less of a burden on trash pickup. I'm not sure if it's individual bins or.
Yeah, so they're individually owned, and so you have to provide them separate, so this is like HOA.
See,
They currently have their own trash. pickup.
They probably use the county recycle centers, I'm assuming, and that, I'm not 100% certain on that, but. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, and it'll take Chris and I, as well as the two chiefs, to help me kind of do my research and come back to y'all on this,
that's good.
so.
Make a motion to approve resolution directing the town clerk to review the subject petition and offer findings of sufficiency.
Then move probably second that the resolution be moved forward. All in favor, let it be known by sign of aye. All opposed, having the same right, hearing none. Motion carried. Managers report.
Mayor, got a few things, things going well at, the town hall and town government, but a few updates. We've got a Commissioner District 3 Community Forum at Presbyterian Church this week, Thursday, June 6th at 6 p.m.
6 p.m. What was that again?
Presbyterian Church, South City Presbyterian. Special call meeting for, budget public hearing is Tuesday, June 11th, at 5:30. Our next regular meeting is Monday, June 17th at 6:30, 2 weeks from now. And then the last thing I'll mention is the James Laird Cheek Pavilion event, Saturday, June 22nd at 10:30 a.m. It's at Bowling Lane Park.
Give me that one more time, Jack.
Mr. Cheek's event, Saturday, June 22nd at 10:30.
10:30.
So coming up, we have the 6th Thursday. Then we have the 11th, a special call, 17th is our normal meeting. And the 22nd is the presentation at Bowling Park.
Yes, sir.
So we were able to determine that the extra meeting that we had everyone mark on their calendars will not be needed. We hit our dates correctly with our public hearing and our publication dates in the newspaper. So when we have our special call June 11th meeting for our first budget hearing, we will have the opportunity to the commissioners approve the budget that night. Or if there's any public testimony, then we can move and try to approve the budget June 17th. And then one last thing about the Larry Cheek memorial event, I did get the invitations in today. And I'll send you all out a text how many you want, if you can email me a list of who you want us to send these to, or I can have the town staff go ahead and stamp these and drop them off to y'all, and y'all can fill them out and send them to whoever. But I got 90 invitations for y'all to mail, or me to mail on your behalf.
I just want to make sure that, and I'm sure you covered this, that the commissioners that served with Larry previously get a personal invitation.
Okay.
And of course, his family too.
Yeah, we should, she is working on that.
That's all I got, Mayor.
All right. Town attorney.
I don't have anything at this time.
Okay, government body comments.
Yes, sir. If I can make a comment, related to Mr. Pagon's comments regarding the freedom of speech issue in Siler City. I look and we read these things every day when we have a meeting, the resuscitation of the mission statement, as well as the vision statement, both of which foundationally need freedom of speech uninhibited at all of our town events. Engaged community requires that people can disseminate knowledge freely. Diversity, innovation, and education rely on freedom of speech, where ideas can prosper, people can engage with each other who have conflicting ideologies and whatnot. And I did also learn too that the Catholic Church of Siler City was not allowed to attend the event. And I find that very disheartening, considering 60% of our population is Hispanic. And that is their largest religious affiliation is with the Catholic Church. They were not allowed to attend that event based on that, but they were allowed to donate. They could not have a booth, as Gil could not have a booth. I think we should strongly consider adopting a non-discriminatory clause that doesn't allow people to discriminate based on political ideology, religious affiliation, or whatnot, so long as they do not act in violence. Of course, that's where you draw the line with freedom of speech. You cannot be violent, but people should always be able to spread their ideas. And this, I take this also very seriously because the District 4 that I represent has a lot of the central part of our town, downtown area where these festivals are held. And I don't take it lightly that this is where ideas are created. We foster great things at our events, and I want to make sure that people can do it as free as possible. I hope my coworkers share this sentiment as well. I don't know if they have any comments regarding what Gil discussed, but I'd like to hear what you all think. Do you have any comments about that? You sympathize or?
Ally, are you at liberty to say what event?
It was the Hispanic festival last September.
So the Catholic Church was not allowed also?
Yes, ma'am. The Catholic Church was not allowed to attend. No churches were allowed to attend. And Siler City is not a secular city. Siler City is a very religious city. If you saw the Chicken Festival here last month, there were a lot of church booths there, and I want to make sure that we still foster that in our community. It's a really good way for people to connect with each other. It's extremely important that we hold on to that. But yes, it was the Catholic Church Commissioner. Any other comments regarding that?
We do have, got a letter from Lindsay Ray, intergovernmental relations manager, and the 250th anniversary is coming up of the United States in 2025. The United States will be 250 years old. And they are asking for a representative from our area to help with that commemoration, and I have volunteered to do that for the town of Siler City. It will start very quickly. They're not they want Siler City in it, and they specifically called for us to join into this. So guys, as we get more information, we will basically share it with you. And hopefully we'll have a grand celebration for 250 years. I was fortunate enough to graduate in 1976. And so that was the centennial anniversary along with Commissioner Bray. So we're a special class too.
What's he telling how old we are?
Yes. Water meters, I did get a report on water meters. The water meters are being put in and processed. Guys, you got to know any new technology is going to have some bugs, some glitches. It's just what it is. And I went and checked the lady's house today when I left the office, and I have to get with Public Works because her meter, the new one is, I don't know what it's doing. But it goes up and down and up and down and up and down. And so I'm not sure what's going on there, but we'll get with the proper people. So we're gonna have that until these bugs are ironed out, but just bear with us. And there's a lot of good stuff going on behind the scenes that you may not be aware of. But trust me, this group is working together and working for the common good of the town of Siler City. I see a lot of good things happening. We walk the streets in the morning, especially Monday morning, to see what it looks like over the weekend. And I was thrilled, all the trash was empty, but there was no trash downtown. We still got some things we need to work on, and our neighborhoods hopefully are coming together. We do have some issues. Our code enforcement officer is riding, ticketing, talking to people, trying to get them up to par. If we can ever get a handle on this flooding, I think we'll be in a real good place, but that too is coming. So I think you guys should be really proud of the progress that has been made. Because a lot of good things are happening, a lot of good people are working hard to make this the best place in the United States to live. I'm skipping Chatham County, the United States to live. And so, again, if there's nothing else,
Mr. Mayor, if I may, the vision statement, I want to go back to what I was saying. The vision and the mission statement are mere words. So I'd like to propose a motion that we do this and move forward with an actual action to uphold what is the most consequential human right, a natural right. I make a motion that the town board adopt a non-discriminatory clause to all applicants to any festival that is held on public land. This is very important. It should not be anything based on political ideology, religion, color of your skin, what have you. Everybody should be allowed to discuss freely. So I make a motion to adopt a non-discriminatory clause for town festivals.
I know you want to move forward this as quickly as possible, but you just can't, because you have to have our attorney research it first. That's probably when no one's speaking up, because we all know that to have a non-discrimination clause put into our application, our attorney has to vet it, research it, come up with a proposal, send it to us.
Okay, that's fair.
So you can't just say, you have to research it first and then come back, and I fully expect that that'll be done.
William, can you provide something like that for us?
I've already asked Jack, made him a list of things to send me.
Okay,
So I think,
we can discuss this at the next.
I think a motion is premature before we get a report back.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm glad you already did that, because I already intended to ask you to do it.
and plus it's dangerous when you got one sided comment. I don't know, Mr. Egon. And I don't know the circumstances, and I don't think the board does either. And so it would be totally unfair for us to do anything like that until we heard from both parties, and we haven't.
If she'd like to come and discuss, that's fine. I don't think there's there's nothing controversial about a non-discriminatory clause being added. So if there's a, worry about it being legal or whatnot, we have some legal hoops to jump through. I respect that, but this is just a non-discriminatory clause that applies to absolutely everybody. So here going forward, it would just ensure that anybody could have a booth at one of these festivals, whether it be the Hispanic festival, the chicken festival, whatnot. We want diversity in our town. We want people's ideas to speak freely.
So just out of curiosity.
Mayor. So this has come up before.
Yeah.
In the HAUSER. And the Hispanic Liaison Festival is not a town sponsored event. This is a street closure request that she comes and she provides, and you guys close it. Just like how it differs, and William, correct me if I'm wrong, this is why I believe this is why a lot of research needs to be done. Because the town of Siler City's Chicken Festival is a town sponsored event. The Hispanic Liaison event, as well as other festivals like Chatham Jug Free and some of the others, they are doing this on their own as a separate entity. They're using, if we want to get technical, the state of North Carolina's roads, the DOT's roads. That's not the town's property.
Public land,
But it is public. However, I think it goes a little deeper with our research that we need to bring a lot of different scenarios in. Because if someone's renting Paul Braxton for a birthday party, that's their private birthday party. And they have the right to not invite a kid if they don't like the kid in their classroom. And so that's how, I feel like that's why we have to be extremely careful and fair and non-biased and do a lot of research with whether it's a private event or if it's a town sponsored event.
We have to also, since it's, we have to consult with the attorneys for DOT as well. And that's nobody on this board likes discrimination. We would never stand up for discrimination. But we have to, do our research and see what we can do on a private event that's on a DOT street.
I hope you take that very seriously, because discrimination did take place on multiple regards, so I hope it doesn't happen again to these groups.
All right,
Brother Mayor,
yes.
I had a concern expressed to me by a resident, last week. And, I just kind of wanted to make it known to the board about, I don't know, if it's appropriate to ask for code enforcement to maybe take a look, at a possible dirt bike track in front of a home in a residential area, in Parkwood, neighborhood, Homewood Acres on Parkwood.
Parkwood,
A lot of traffic. It seems like could be a potential boarding house or something of the sort. I don't wanna make allegations, but if it's appropriate, I would like to ask for that to be, followed up on.
Chief, is that something?
If they're riding on private property, there's nothing we can do about it. They have to come out onto a public road before we can.
But it could be an issue, but it'd be a criminal issue.
It's gonna be another issue. And do we permit dirt bike tracks in yards in a residential area?
It's a dirt bike, I mean.
I think we were looking at it from code.
Yeah.
Maybe more zoning enforcement than anything. Take a look at Commissioner Patterson. Thank you.
You talking about bicycle or?
Dirt bike.
Use that four-wheeler over there too. They ran up behind me delivering, when I delivered back to Jay. Yeah, they're make that.
The owner allows us.
So we,
Yeah.
when motion go to closed session pursuant to North Carolina jurisdiction, 143.3, it's in the revenue.
It's been probably moved and seconded that we enter into closed section, all in favor by sign by. All opposed, have the same. Very done. Thank you guys for coming out and I hope you got something out of what was going on tonight. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you all.
See, take it easy.
See you. Mr. Mayor. Yes, sir.
I forgot.